All right, so this is our last assignment for today, and this is from the book Microbes, Friend or Foe. We are reading about bacteria. I have my science journal ready to go next to me for when I'm done. I'm looking for 5 facts. I have been super interested in this one. It does not freak me out like the spider one, even though I'm not going to lie. After I found out that they really do use leeches on people from doctors, it kind of grossed me out. Plus the video is super disgusting. All right, 4 groups of microbes. Bacteria. Bacteria are everywhere and on everything, and they're tough. Some can thrive in barren ice and others extreme heat. As with other microbes, some bacteria are good for us and some aren't. There are more types of bacteria than there are types of any other organism on Earth. By sheer population count, bacteria rule. Fun food facts. Several types of bacteria help change milk into yogurt and sour cream. These bacteria eat lactose, or milk sugars, and release lactic acid, which curdles the milk and makes it more solid. The lactic acid gives yogurt and sour cream a tangy sour flavor. We actually make this in class. When you guys come back, we'll make yogurt and cheese. One type of good bacteria lives in our intestines. It helps to break down and digest the food that we eat, and we couldn't live without it. Nasty strep throat bacteria can cause a painful sore throat, a fever, a headache, an upset stomach, and tender swollen glands in the back. White spots of pus appear on the back of the throat. Ew, gross. I hate that. I don't know if you've ever had strep, but it is no fun. Food poisoning can make us very sick as well. It's usually caused by harmful bacteria that live on or in many uncooked foods. Cooking foods to the right temperature kills those bacteria. But there are other bacteria that live on the surfaces where we prepare food every day and on our hands. Food poisoning often occurs in upset stomach. It causes an upset stomach, vomiting, and diarrhea. Ugh. How many people die every year from food poisoning? 3,000. How many people go to the emergency room? 128,000 people go to the ER, emergency room, because of foodborne illnesses. Yikes. Wash your hands, for Pete's sakes. Viruses. Viruses can be difficult to get rid of. A virus will invade the cells of people or other animals and spread quickly from cells to cell, causing an infection. Viruses not only make people sick, some viruses can cause death. And sometimes a virus can avoid detection by our watchful immune system. A virus has the ability to mutate or change its identity to avoid being noticed. This ability to change makes it more difficult to find the virus and stop it. The flu, chickenpox, HIV, and the common cold are each caused by a virus. Blech, look at that virus. This is the influenza virus. Holy smokes. Under 295,000 times being magnified. That's how tiny and that's a lot. Scientists are looking for ways to use viruses to help people get healthy too. Viruses take control of the cell that they invade and tell them what to do. If a cell started multiplying out of control, a scientist might be able to use a virus to tell the cell to slow down its growth. This treatment is being studied as a way to fight cancer, a disease in which cells grow out of control. I posted a video called Hijacked, and it's how cells do that for cancer. Do you have a common cold? Do you have headaches? No. Flu? Do. So this just lets you know what it might be. Okay, next. Fungi. Fungi. There are many different types of fungi. Some, like mushrooms, look like plants. But the microscopic type of harmful fungi that invade our body cause irritating common infections like ringworm and athlete's foot. Ugh. Ringworm causes a worm-like itchy red ring to appear on the skin. Athlete's foot fungi attack the bottom of feet and area between the toes, causing the irritated skin to itch, crack, and peel. Protozoa. Mosquito. Protozoa are simple single-celled organisms that often live in streams, ponds, and dirty water. We need to be careful about the water we drink. If protozoa get into your body, they can cause nausea, vomiting, and mouth infections. Ew. Don't drink pond water. One serious protozoa infection is spread by saliva from the bite of an infected mosquito. The protozoa microbe enters the person's blood through the bite and causes a disease called malaria. Malaria occurs most often in the areas that have hot tropical climates. This infection causes high fever, weakness, and delirium, and kills 1 million people every year. What the heck? 1 million people die every year from malaria. People should pay attention to that one. Holy smokes. How do microbes spread infection? Think about the times when you have been in a crowded place, near someone who is sneezing or coughing. You know they are spreading germs and you wish they'd stay home. Most diseases are spread by our contact with an infected or sick person. Many infection-causing microbes live in body fluids such as saliva, blood, and nasal mucus. These fluids make it easy for microbes to transfer an infection from one person to another. Besides the germs that are coughed into the air, you can pick up germs if you handle something that has been touched and contaminated by someone who is sick. There are also several harmful microbes that can infect an insect or other animal first. Then that infection can be passed to a human. We can get rabies from an infected mammal such as dogs, raccoons, and skunks. Don't touch any of those. And salmonella may be on chickens, birds, fish, and reptiles. Besides malaria, infected mosquitoes can also give us West Nile virus. Sick birds can transfer a serious avian flu, and Lyme disease comes from the bite of an infected tick. Okay, there's like 1 million things you can get sick from right here, but I'm not going to not go outside. I will check for ticks, and I'm clearly not petting random skunks or raccoons. So I think I'm like minimizing my opportunity for death. Just pointing that out. Do you want to pet my wild raccoon? No, that's okay. All right. Outbreaks and epidemics. Diseases can be spread quickly. One sick person can infect dozens, and dozens of sick people can then infect hundreds more. It's even possible for people to infect others long before they know that they themselves are sick. A person who shows no signs of a disease but still infects others is sometimes referred to as a healthy carrier and can be hard to find, isolate, and treat. When a small group of people in the same place get the same disease, it's called an outbreak. When an outbreak of disease rapidly spreads to a large number of people, it's called an epidemic. And when an epidemic quickly spreads to infect larger groups of people around the world, it is called a pandemic. A local outbreak of a disease is no longer expected to stay in one place. Disease-carrying microbes are hitchhikers, and they go wherever people go. Modern transportation, such as buses, trains, and airplanes, both carry people and their germs quickly. Sick travelers can infect any person they encounter during their trip. Then, the people they just infect can start a separate outbreak in another place. Next, fighting microbes with vaccines. No one likes to get shots, but they're important. A vaccine treatment is a way to plan ahead to prevent disease. The job of a vaccine is to help build up our immune system's ability to recognize a fight of a disease-causing microbe. Many of these powerful vaccines are made from weakened tiny bits of harmful viruses or bacteria itself. The idea of using a virus to prevent a disease or to use a mild disease to prevent a worse disease, was first thought of 200 years ago in England. Dr. Edward Jenner treated many farm workers who caught a mild pox disease called cowpox. Haha, cowpox. He also treated severe case of deadly smallpox. Over time, Dr. Jenner noticed that people who had been sick with cowpox never got the other pox disease, smallpox. But why? Smallpox is one of the deadliest diseases in the world, and it's highly infectious. Epidemics of smallpox killed many thousands of people. Actually, I was reading this, and this is, they talk about this later. The number of people who've died from smallpox is insane. I'm going to grab my journal. So this is called Microbes, Friend or Foe, ? Week 6, Day 2. Underline my title, number 1. Good bacteria makes cheese and yogurt. Y-O-G-U-R-T. Sorry. Oops, geez, I'm not even writing on the page. I'm sorry. Good bacteria makes cheese and yogurt. That's a fact. Got 2 points. I got a capital and I have an end mark. And I'm spelling yogurt the right way because it's made a mess there. Sorry. Number 2. They talk about food poisoning. And here. Oops, not here like that. Here like this. Here. 3,000 plus or minus people die every year from food poisoning. Next. Oh, the other point was I was going to say, so I have capital and an end mark. I didn't actually have to capitalize food poisoning, so I probably should have just done a little F and a little P. Fact. And a connection, because I'm making a connection. We're talking about that too. 3. This was huge. Malaria kills over 1 million people every year. What the heck? A million people every year? I'm yelling because that's insane. I'm sorry. That's insane. I know that they've not been able to come up with some things. I don't know exactly why some people can't overcome it. A lot of this is happening in third world countries, and people don't have access to doctors and clean water and those types of things. So they just keep getting it. It gets worse and worse. I'm going to look this up later. Like, why do people die? That's a lot of people dying every year. That's a fact. Not an opinion. 4. Actually, I have a question. Why aren't more people in the U.S. A, worried about malaria. That sounds horrible. Capital and N mark. Last one. Cowpox. What the? Cowpox? I never heard of this. But I do know of chickenpox, which is like a whole farm animal thing. I wonder if they have horse pox. I never heard of this, but I had chickenpox on Easter, and it was horrible when I was a kid. I itched for like days. I had chickenpox, and I have read, about millions dying from smallpox. Period. All right, so capital, period, capital I, capital I, capital I. All right, +2. And this one's a connection. I actually want to know more about cowpox. I wonder if they have horse pox. All right, we're good.